Hey, good evening. It's Hawaiian Shirt Friday, which means I'm rocking my Milwaukee Brewers Hawaiian shirt that I've had for way too long. Um, Speaking of the Brewers, tried to play a little. It was all teams yesterday, and so I tried to play Immaculate Grid, all Brewers. Um, I was successful for the first. I think it was about the first five, and then I ended up faltering. I picked a Milwaukee Brave in there, and then wasn't able to come up with others. A couple corrections on that. Carlos Gomez did play for the Mets twice. He did his first, partial season on a playoff contender, no less. Played about 50 games for the Mets in 2007, and then ended his career in 2019 also with the Mets. So I was sure he had never played for the Mets as a big leaguer. I knew he was in the organization and was in the Johan Santana trade, but I was completely wrong. He played major league games in a Mets uniform. He also works for the Rangers and Astros, if you're curious. Um, let's see. And then I think Eric Sogard worked for one of them. Henry Blanco was a good pick for Twins and Braves, and also works for the Brewers. So there are options. I just didn't remember them. So that's all right. Maybe one of these days I'll give that another shot. Maybe today. We'll see. In the meantime, I'm gonna hit share and we'll get right into it. There we go. Hit refresh. Yeah, these were all ex-Brewers. And then yeah, I think Gomez would have worked here. I say Sogard would have worked. Was it here? No, I think it was down here somewhere. And I think Blanco was here. There were definitely options, but in any event, let's hit the refresh and go right into it. 40 saves. I think that's a new one. I don't think I've seen 40 saves before. 40 saves will have to line up with the Nationals or Expos. The Cardinals, interesting, and the Guardians. Um, so let's see, Guardians. I think I've got a couple for this. Jose Mesa definitely will work. I believe Joe Borowski one year had like I think it was 2007. It was the year that Cleveland went all the way to Game 7 of the ALCS. I think he had like 45 saves and a 5 ERA. I think there was even a video by one of those content creators. I always get the wrong one, so I'm not gonna. I'll see if I can find it and I'll post the link. But there was a season about Borowski's weird 2007 season. I think he'd be a good pick there. Bob Wickman, maybe. There's a former Brewer. Um, yeah, who else? I don't think Doug Jones ever got to 40 in a season. Cody Allen. I don't. Maybe. I think he was in the 30s. I'm gonna go with Borowski though. That's such a unique season. Also, low key, this will be a grid buster. Not that it's not like calling it makes it gives me extra credit, but I don't think there's gonna be any super low scores. I think there's probably gonna be three-ish for each of these, I think. And I haven't come up with a cardinal yet. I'm still thinking on that one. Isringhausen, maybe? Anyway, Joe Borowski, 4%. Huh, lower than I thought. Um, for the Nationals, they used to be the Expos. Um, Ugur Thurbina in like 98 had a really good year. I remember, but I don't know if he quite got to 40. Um, Chad Cordero also had a big year. I'm trying to put 40 saves, but Chad Cordero was really good the first year the Nationals were a team. I'm trying to see if that was 40 saves. See, like in my head, if it was 40 saves. Let's go with, I got a better one. Let's go with World Series MVP on the 1996 Yankees and a former Expo himself, John Wetland. Well, I wonder if, now let's go with Wetland. 16%. All right. And then for the Cardinals, Bruce Sutter will work. Bruce Sutter saved 40 saves, I believe, in the 84 season. Um, Tom Henke had a really good single season with the Cardinals. I don't know if he got to 40. Eckersley had a couple years as the Cardinals closer, I think right after Henke. Not sure if he got to, I don't think he got to 40. I think he was still in the 30s at that point or back to the 30s at that point. Isringhausen is a maybe. And then yeah, I'm trying to think of other like iconic Cardinals like Dotel was there for a little bit. I think Suter might actually just be the best option. I think he was one of the first people to even get to 40 saves, which means he probably won't be that. He'll probably be a high scorer, but I'll throw him in there anyway. 17%. Okay, so that tells me that there's definitely options that were more obvious to others, but probably not, just not to me. There are probably some recent people that got to 40 saves, and I just don't keep up with closers as much anymore, I guess. Huh. Teach us something about yourself. Anyway, let's see. Mariners and Nationals, which also means Mariners and Expos. Randy Johnson will work. The person Randy Johnson was traded for will work. That'll be an interesting one. How about Mark Langston? Mark Langston started his career with Seattle, was traded in his contract year to Montreal, and then signed a long-term deal with the California Angels. So and the person he was traded for was Randy Johnson. So let's see how he does. David Segui, that'd be another option, maybe a better one, but I've already written it, so Langston takes 4%. Segui would have been better. I probably should have done that. Figure the grid's not going to be super low anyway, but let's see. Uh, I've got a pretty good one here. Let's see how well Vince Coleman does. 4% as well. So how did I know Vince Coleman played with the Mariners? Because on the double by Edgar Martinez, on the double in the 1995 ALDS against the Yankees, Griffey comes around to score the winning run. And Vince Coleman is one of the very first people, like I think it's A-Rod is the first person who like leaps into his arms, and then Coleman is right afterwards, if you watch the celebration video. And that's for me how I was like, shoot, Vince Coleman was a Mariner. All right, I didn't know that. Or I don't have he's not famous for being a Mariner. He's obviously more famous for stealing 100 bases 3 years in a row with the St. Louis Cardinals. So yeah, fun. That's how my mind made that connection. Um, I'm sure there's others, but we'll keep. I think Mark Whiten played for both teams, if I'm not mistaken. And there's definitely others. Let's see. I'm not sponsored by Disney or whatever this is. Let's see. Cleveland and Seattle. Paul Sorrento. I've gone with him a few times. Another fun one is who I also like to go to a lot, and I'll probably go to today again. Pretty solid pick is Kevin Mitchell did play some games with both teams, but not a lot of games. So let's see how he does here. I think he only played a half season with the Mariners, if I recall correctly. Yeah, he goes 0.1. Finally, one that's under 1%. Took me most of the game here. Let's see. We can go with second. Did I go with this guy earlier in the week? I remembered he was one of the guys that had a 500 career batting average. And this one is a little bit tricky. So see how there's two Roberto Hernandez there. The second Roberto Hernandez, the one whose career goes 2006 to 2016. Yeah, I'm not going to select him because I don't think he's going to work. I don't think he played for the Mariners or the Royals. In any event, that's Fausto Carmona was his name when he finished top 5 in the Cy Young balloting in 2007. But he was teammates at the same time with the OG Roberto Hernandez, who was a closer for many years, primarily with the Chicago White Sox, but he did a stint with Tampa Bay Devil Rays and a stint with the Royals. He also hits Pirates. I think he saved me on the Pirates one time. It's kind of a guess. And Giants. He'll also work for the Giants. So keep Roberto Hernandez in your back pocket. Uh, the one who didn't ever have a different name. I think there was a birth certificate thing here. I forget the exact details. I don't want to speak out of turn, but this Roberto Hernandez will definitely work. He takes under 1%. All right. The Missouri teams, St. Louis and Kansas City. I've got a couple options here at least. Dan Quisenberry, I do have a card with him with the Cardinals. He will work. So will Lonnie Smith, and so will Daryl Porter. Um, More modern player that'll work, Mark Grzelcyk. He definitely played for both teams. I think Dotel works, but Dotel always has that, level of where he always gets to. Reggie Sanders, he's a fun little standby, but he'll work. And then Grzelcyk will work again in the next one up. And I think I might do that. Try some other expos that would work, but let's not put it too far. Let's go with Quisenberry. Let's see how many people remember he made a brief appearance in St. Louis. I think it was just a year or two. 5% people remember that. All right. Well, I got two. Like I've got a pretty solid relief core here with these guys. Langston will have to take all the starts. But yeah, let's close with Grzelcyk. See how he does. I can't even calculate. Okay, these guys both took 5%, so they weren't really good picks. I probably could have played around a little bit, try to come up with some better ones. But on that, let's just check the closers and see how rare these were. 6, 5, and 5. Reardon was the most common one here. Johnson was the most common one. So by going with the guy Johnson was traded for, that was an interesting strategy. But a lot of people probably will remember that bit of trivia because they might have a rookie card of Randy Johnson. I do. It's right there. I'm pointing at it. You can't see it, so it's useless for you, but it's right there. Interesting. Yeah, Colton Wong just started playing with Seattle this season. Little Carlos Santana, current Brewer, rocks the bottom there. Yeah, let's check these guys out. It's probably just going to be John learning about current. So I hit Wickman. I didn't hit Michael. Michael Jackson. Different Michael Jackson, but he yeah, 98. I remember him having a really good year in 98. Mesa, I hit Doug Jones. I explicitly ruled out, but it turned out he did get to 40 saves. So shows what I know. Let's see with the Nationals. Rafael Soriano. Yeah, he hits a few teams with 40 saves. He hits the Tampa Bay Rays. I think he'll hit the Yankees too. Maybe I think the season just before this. Chad Cordero was right about him. Urbina did get there. Reardon did get there, and he was the most popular. And Drew Storen flew under the radar, at least for me. And I already did that one. Cardinals. So I had Suter. I guessed Isringhausen. I sort of guessed Henke, but Isringhausen would have been right. Suter was right. Lee Smith. I should have gotten Lee Smith. And then I don't think I was going to get Monty or Rosenthal there. All right, cool. Well, fun. 40 saves. I think that's the first time I've seen 40 saves, so that was a fun one. And we'll be back at it tomorrow. Have a great rest of your weekend. As always, this is brought to you by my book, which the link will be in the description. I got to tilt that. There we go. Baseball's Most Fun Frivolities, which is on Amazon. Thanks to all you bought the book. It means a lot to me. I didn't think anyone was going to read it other than maybe my mom, who has also read it. So thanks so much, and have a great weekend. Peace.